Hey everybody, it's Julie Quinn here, and I want to give you a little tour of the NOVA libraries and how to do research. This is based on a discussion we had today in class when the libraries didn't seem to be working. I'm going to show you now, because it seems like everything is back up to date, how to do that. So when you click on, go to the NOVA library, if you just type in, Google NVCC library, it will say Library Services Update as the first link. Don't worry about that. It will take you to the library's homepage, or go on NOVA's website and just type in library, and it'll be the same thing. You should get to the same page. Okay? The searches that we do in English 111 and 112 for the most part, and even in when I teach Literature of Science Fiction 256, focus primarily on articles, because we want peer-reviewed content, not self-published books, and sometimes books are quite long, and we want to get a sampler platter of a lot of different authors doing research on a topic. That gives us an ability to look for consensus, to find themes, to find overlaps, versus reading one big book and just basically summarizing what one person said. So in class today, we were talking about tuition and United States. Okay, so under the tuition United States, make sure you've toggled to articles, and let's see what we find. So it says articles here, and if you remember in class earlier, it had 0 results. This is exactly what I expected to see. A really high volume of results. And so what we want to do is we want to narrow it to peer-reviewed journals. That's one of our options. We go from 85,000 to 25,000 now. This is the experts talking to other experts on the topic. In addition, we want to elevate our Aristotelian ethos. We want to find current discussion if this is a 111 or 112 class. If this is a literature class, that's different. You can have a wider publication range, especially for text that if you're analyzing like a Dickens text or an H.G. Wells text that was written, more than 100 years ago. But in this case, if it's a 111 or 112 class, we could do maybe 2019. Make sure you click the little check mark here. And let's just start with that, and let's see what happens when we apply the filter. So we started with the 85,000. We're now down to 2,500. So we've significantly shrunk it, but that's a lot. What you can then do is you can narrow it more. You can narrow it to, let's do the last year, and you got to always click that little button back, apply your filters. Now we're down to 1,200. I think the sweet spot for the searches is usually like 1 to 200. Maybe if we add community college, and let's try it one more time. Let's see, community college, and see what happens. Okay, so by adding the word community college, we've gone from 85,000 to 36,000. Let's go ahead and narrow it to the last year. And we chose, of course, peer-reviewed. And, well, peer-reviewed journals is fine. That also means full text. Let's see what we get here. We're down to 783. We've gotten it as close as we can get. Maybe the intersection of the words you're looking at are terms like food insecurity. So that would be a student who doesn't know if they're going to be able to eat that day, right? So we're talking about the economy. We're talking about poverty. What if we took out the word community and added the word free and did that quick search with tuition, United States, and free? So there's all different ways to search. You can find really interesting information. So I'm going to actually strip this. It's not real intuitive. So free. And let's scroll down. Let's make this let's say 2019 and peer reviewed. And let's see if the word free, I'm supposed to say free. I don't know what's happening with this search. Remember all filters. Quick search. Let's see. Will that work? Let's get us from 5,500. Okay, so here are some results. And of course, you can narrow it more. It really does. If you read a couple of trustworthy green square newspaper articles, on the topic that you're going to write about for an argumentative essay. There may be a particular set of additional terms you can use to narrow this number down. Again, 100 to 200, 250 is a good collection of search terms. Now, you can pin articles that you find would be appealing to you, something that you think you want to read. So you pin it, and it just basically, this is what the old folder used to look like. We're going to skip this one. We said United States, but this talks about tuition in Ecuador. So if you wanted to research outside of the United States to make recommendations, the United States should follow another country. That could be valuable for you. You could also see what happens when tuition fees are now being added in places that was considered free. At least Americans considered it free. Here's one from the responses to the Tennessee Promise System. So there are states now like Tennessee that have said community college will be free. And it's really interesting to look at some of the articles to sort of see what appeals to you. I've saved a few of them. And of course, we could also add public versus private. There's all different searches. Once you found a couple that you're interested in, it doesn't mean these are the right ones for you. What you want to do is you want to go to the article itself. When it says available online, click on it. Full text available. So you'll be following a few links. It's a pain in the behind, but hey, here's the article in its entirety. The first part you see is the abstract. Then you see the introduction, the related literature. That's who else is talking about this topic, which could be really helpful. How they did their research. That's their exploration through sort of like lab experimentation, their experimentation, or the participant observation, their surveying, how they analyzed, how they crunched their numbers, then the results. And if you've taken a class with me before, you know you don't have to read all of this and understand the middle part, but read the abstract to decide, is this about what I was talking about? And then if it is, read the introduction, skim the related literature, because you may find really good articles that you also want to read that are now you found through this initial article. So it's like going down the rabbit hole. Skim the data and the methods, because you're not expected to know what those calculations are or what the tables mean yet. You're not an expert in your field, but other experts understand this. And then as you go down toward the bottom, concluding remarks, like conclusion, if there's any sort of discussion in conclusion. You can also see the other sources here. And sometimes there's the entire PDF of these other sources. So using the library databases, yes, it's a hassle at first. There's a couple of clicks, but it ends up working out pretty well. One of the other benefits of when you're reading these articles, of course, you can print it as a PDF, but it will help you format your works cited. So we can export a citation to text. Let's see what we can do there. And even within the search, before you even click on the article, there's that same thing, citation. This is just like either your works cited entry. It's already in its format, and it's pretty close. That's not exactly MLA though. It doesn't get it 100% right, but it gathers all the right information. See how that actually there's MLA. I think it was copying APA. So there's MLA. So you could take this, you could copy this and put it into the works cited. It's not part of the body paragraphing writing. It's just that list of all of your sources. And it saves readers time, or saves writers time, because then you don't have to build these from scratch. You don't have to memorize the rules, but you get to, work on the thoughtful body paragraphing, showing the evidence, explaining the significance, and tying everything together. So this is a quick way of how you do that. And by the way, when you're in the library databases and you go back up, where was I? Okay, I've signed in here. Oh, I'm in this section. You can also collect all of the articles that you've saved. You can email them to yourself. Like you can email this article to yourself. You can remove the pin if you don't like it. There's all sorts of different things you can do, but don't forget you have to click a couple of links to get the article to fully pop up. I hope this helps you in your searches, and look forward to seeing your research.